Crazy times.
Hi there, this is Brian Sebastian, Movie Reviews and More, Women on TV.tv, worldwide TV network, formerly known as the Women's Broadcast TV Network, and IT 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee. And okay, so this is a special show. Show number 4 today. We are at 5.8 million views and counting, up to 17,000 views overnight. 3.7 out of Tennessee alone. And my God, I'm only happy because we become, in my view, the #1 media outlet in the world with all the stuff that we're doing. 19 weeks, and Adam, you are on show number 153. Get a imagine that. Straight, 3 to 5 shows a day. We've just been kicking butt. Adam, who are you and where did you come from?
My name is Adam Grossman. I am the founder and CEO of Papa Barkley. We are a cannabis wellness products company operating out of Eureka, California. We make pain relief products like topical pain bombs and transdermal patches and ingestibles, including tinctures and capsules. And we're primarily known for the medicinal efficacy of our products, and because they're non-psychoactive pain products at our core. But yeah, we run a cannabis company.
Let me ask you this. This is not only timely, you have a great story, and I tell people it's always about the story. There's so many people that have great stories and not enough people take the time to listen to them. So I want to thank you for coming on, because what you created is very, very special. There's a product that I didn't find, Flex 24. It was just, they were just throwing on the show. The CEO came on. We're at 929,000 views with that. I haven't even aired that show out of Tennessee alone, in the country of Argentina. And we did 4 shows that day, but it was show number 3. And from that, I found pain reliever from the bombs. People really need that these days. Not only sitting more, slunched over like this and everything, but just in general, people are going through aches and pains. When you created this, talk about that story, how it came about with your dad, but also where you are now, because there's got to be more people having more aches and pains, being by themselves, anxiety, depression, and all this stuff. Talk about that.
No, I appreciate that. Well, in terms of my story and how the company started, yeah, I had a life-changing experience with my dad. My background is entrepreneurial, and back in 2014, beginning of 2015, was looking at the cannabis space around the idea of creating an investment vehicle and helping companies grow, and the obvious cool potential of cannabis, its variety of uses, which as an adult I had enjoyed for my whole adult life. But at the same time, started having these business conversations. I was going back and forth to Boston, to my parents' house to help them. They were elderly. My mom got Alzheimer's, and they just needed help around the house and just to take care of them. And then my dad developed this back condition that left him in terrible pain, bedridden. We didn't know what to do. We put him in the hospital. He just got worse. Then he got put onto hospice care. And when the pain specialists came in, they said if he didn't get out of bed in the next week to 10 days, he probably wouldn't. I was desperate. I went online and looked at, this was the suggestion of a friend of mine, looked at formulas for a pain bomb, because she had been in California that day, had called me. And so I went online, looked at these formulas, synthesized a couple of the formulas, borrowed a crock pot from the neighbor, called up my high school buddy to get a couple of ounces of the best weed I could get, and went down to Whole Foods to get the coconut oil and the rest of the ingredients, mixed up a $500 batch of this pain bomb as strong as I could make it for my dad's back, and cooked the coconut oil in the crock pot, and then strained it and mixed in the other ingredients. And when I put it on my father's back the next day, I could get him out of bed. And so he responded to it incredibly, and over time he got better. He actually got off hospice, which hardly ever happens. And I realized this, the incredible medicinal potential just in a topical. Started giving bomb away to friends and family and getting incredible feedback, and started pursuing that as a passion project. And when I found my partner Guy out here in California, we launched the business, and we've now grown. That product is, I think the #1 selling topical product in the state of California in the cannabis market. We're the #1 topicals business in the California market, and we're also very strong in the tinctures category. So we're known for non-psychoactive pain products at a very high level of efficacy. And yeah, we really have a mission to improve people's lives. Unlocking the power of cannabis to improve people's lives is the mission of the company.
Good for you. You get claps on that, because here's the thing about that. I've had all these brands reach out to us. I'm all about anything that's environmentally friendly, sustainable. I like showcasing things, and it really is always about the story. It's very, very important. Talk about this. Is it good for arthritis? Can you use it on your wrists, fingers and stuff like that? Because more people are typing now with Zoom interviews and stuff like that.
Yeah, so lots of uses. Here it is. So you can see it. It's like Tiger Balm, but it's very potent, infused with, I think there's 600 milligrams of cannabinoids in this product, in this one jar. But the uses are, yes, for arthritis, arthritic hands, for muscle pain, these topicals. Really for arthritis and more chronic conditions, people take our high CBD blends. Our top selling product in California is an ingestible. It's our 30-to-1 tincture. And so that is almost all CBD. It's the same formulation that we sell. And then we have a national CBD line. So all of our lines include all of the cannabinoids because of the way that we process naturally and without chemicals. So everything is what's called full spectrum. So our national products have THC in them as well. But what I was mentioning about arthritis, where people have really had life-changing experiences, is when you take CBD as an ingestible, you take it in equal daily amounts. It's important to find the right milligram dose, but that's how you take CBD. And yeah, people have had life-changing experiences with respect to psoriatic arthritis, for topical conditions, and for stress on the CBD side. That's the other big change that we're seeing. The same reason that you can treat epilepsy with high doses of CBD because of the calming effect. It has that type of calming effect in terms of just general stress as well.
Let me ask you this, 2 things on this. Do women like to smell, for one? And the ages, our audience is ages from 9 to 86. People who've marched in marching bands and drum and bugle corps. Now, they didn't have a lot of that at all, or any of that at all this summer, but they developed, when they're on doing stuff like that, or even on stage, there's little things going on here and there, not a lot, but they have the simplest pain, whether it's in their knee or their ankle or their wrist, or some of them, they don't know which doses to take. I know from Griffin, Georgia, where my mom lives, it's a private estate there. Ages 55 to 86, they all want something like this, but they don't know exactly what the doses to take. Can you talk about that?
Sure. So typically a standard dose per person would be anywhere from 30 to 60 milligrams per day of CBD. So that would be 1 or 2 for us. The tincture, it comes in this is one of our tinctures, just to show you. So it comes in a bottle, and then the dropper has 30 milligrams in a full dropper. So it'd be a full dropper in the morning and in the evening. If you look at other, the prescribed dosage for that CBD drug, Epidiolex, that was approved for childhood epilepsy, it's a much higher dosage, 10 milligrams per kilo per day. But if I'm, say, 80 kilos, that would be about 800 milligrams of CBD. So if someone my size had a chronic condition, that would be, you could take up to almost a full bottle of this a day. So meaning that if that is the prescribed dose for a chronic condition, you have a lot of tolerance in your body for higher doses. We always say it's about finding the right ratio, which includes both ratio of THC to CBD, and also the milligram count that you take every day. Obviously, on the THC side, you have to be careful. So a typical edible, for instance, would have 5 milligrams of THC in it, just by way of comparison.
Now, you look like you're in great shape. What do you take? Because I'm 60 now, I don't get headaches. I think I've had 3 headaches in my entire life, but just minor. And I was always taught this, so I believe it. I read it when I was in high school, my sophomore year, headaches were from illogical thinking. And I'm like, well, that makes sense to me. So I believe that, believe it or not. So maybe that's why I don't have headaches. But the thing is, as we get older, we still have aches and pains. So on my fingers, I'm typing. I work off of 3 computers. My phones, I have 2 phones and I have a tablet here. I don't take anything. So I always tell people I would take what I need. So droplets would be good for me, maybe edibles or something like that. But I haven't decided which one to do because whatever. Now I'm standing a lot. So I'm on a Segway. Segway gave me AI technology. So I stand on it and it's got a camera in the middle. So I know I've developed back muscles, but again, that doesn't mean I don't, when I'm in bed, I'm stretching my back, that it doesn't feel like it. So this is where I'm going to start to reach out to you on that because I know that rub will work. I already know. I haven't even tried it and I already know.
Let me say a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to send you some stuff so we can talk about this, or you can follow up in the air for sure. I would start because you are obviously an extraordinary specimen since you don't get headaches and you're not even that sore and you look great. If you're 60, you're looking terrific. But I guess I would suggest when you do get this box of the stuff that you start with the topicals and then kind of assess like how much progress for just being sore from normal working out or just achy back from sitting in a position. As I mentioned, the way, because you're obviously the way that you, because sorry, I'm saying a couple things at once, because you're multitasking and obviously doing a lot of stuff. I would imagine you'd want to start with just the CBD rich, the 30-1, or the national version of our tincture is almost all CBD. That it's the same in the national and in our California 30-1 version. That would be the drops that I would suggest you take on a regular basis. And it's after 5 or 6 days that you start to really see or feel the differences. One difference you might see is it regulates your sleep cycle. I don't know if you have any problems staying asleep or with your sleep cycle, but that really helps me. In terms of general level of stress maintenance, again, after that 5 or 6 days is when there's sort of, it titrates sufficiently in your system. And so, yeah, I would recommend that to anybody as a starting point. People take CBD, but it does require education because, for instance, just the way that you take it, it's a daily thing. It's not like I have a headache, I'm going to take a CBD pill. You have to take it on equal daily regimen of it and then note carefully, and for what you're taking it for, obviously. But for people with, say, psoriatic arthritis, systemic issues involving arthritis or things like epilepsy. My sister has Parkinson's disease. She takes it on a daily basis.
And all of that helps for that too.
Yeah, it's helpful for sure. It's plant medicine, and this plant has amazing medicinal potential.
I always tell people this. I'm not your average black guy. I'm not married, never been married, don't have any kids. I'm in the world of entertainment. There's 4 things right now. I'm the only one. That's not normal. I don't get headaches. I don't smoke, but I don't have any stress. But I do have this just from getting older. You just naturally develop little aches and pains there. When I'm on my Segway for a long period of time, because I like to walk in the hot sun where I am in Vegas right now. But when I'm traveling around, you don't always get proper sleep in a different bed. Or like when I'm stretching my back, because I've been on my Segway for a long time, I do feel it. I kind of know what it is and I do my best to stretch. So I always tell people I'm a unique specimen from someone to do a case study on because I don't have those normal things. So for me, it's like, I'm going to take something, most likely it's yours. But the thing was, I have to take something that'll be for those certain aches and pains, whether it's for your wrist, your fingers, or the lower back. That makes sense.
So we make, I'm not trying to do a pitch, but just to really explain it. So we make.
Oh, you can pitch away. Pitch away.
So we make these patches. So it kind of depends. There's so many variables to control for in terms of your blood type, your endocannabinoid system, which is the system that we all have. Even if you never touch this plant in your whole life, your body naturally makes what are called endocannabinoids, which are that runner's high when you're running, that's your endocannabinoid system. That's why it feels similarly to when you do get high, because it's stimulating the same receptors. Our body, our nervous system is flush with them. Anyhow, the point being, it's highly variable in terms of what product for what person works, because of the nature of plant medicine, the nature of the differences in your health condition, your age, your blood type, your endocannabinoid system. It's all unique. So we make different products in different ratios of cannabinoids, and then different delivery systems. So these are transdermal patches, for instance, and we make them in different ratios. So you kind of have to, it's a journey. We always like to say, like, I get this aching in my shoulder all the time. The CBD patch works for me. You know, maybe it wouldn't work for you, or the higher THC patch would be the one that could work. And then that's kind of the journey that we talk about. This is a bath soak, right? So for me, the best thing for my back is to lie in a bath with the bath salt, and then put a patch on and then go to sleep, you know, because the patch stays on all through the night, and the bath soak sort of, you know, it opens up the pores by taking the bath, and yeah, it feels nice.
Let me ask you this, Kimmy. You look like you're in great shape, just overall, in general. Can I ask how old you are?
I'm 59.
You look really good. You look,
Thanks.
you look like you could go out and play football like right now to me.
Oh man, must be something in the camera. I definitely cannot go out.
No, I think it's your product. Let me ask you this. How long can the patch stay on for? Can you take a shower with the patch? And how many days will it work for?
The patch can stay on from, we recommend a minimum of like 12 hours, but it can to 24. I have left it on in the shower and it just dries out, and it's all we work with resin. The way that we make the patches is, we get the flower and grind it up, and then we spin it in a sieve and take the keef off it. The keef is that powder. If you ever we're with somebody and they're grinding weed, and then there's that bottom section with the powder that builds up. That's the keef, and those are the trichome heads from the plant, and so that's where the primary amounts of like THC are stored. So the way we make these patches are we collect that keef and we put them in these bags that are like long tea bags, and then inside of parchment paper, and we actually press them between these two heated pneumatic plates. And what happens is it extrudes out this amazing sticky, waxy substance called rosin, which I can send you a video on. It's like, you can stretch it out like taffy, and it's just golden colored, and it's highly potent medicine. And that's what we melt down to put into these patches. And it's oily because the plant, if you ever put your hands on the cannabis bud, it's all sticky and waxy because it's oil based, right? That's why, in any case, the way we make these batches is by taking that really cool rosin, melting it into a natural formula that we put on the patches. And because it's oil-based, you can get it wet, leave it on after the shower, and it'll dry back out, and it'll still continue to deliver cannabinoids up to, I would say, 24 hours.
Let me ask you this. Did you know before 2018 that you were going to be in this business?
You know, I knew, yes, the answer is yes, because I had this experience in 2015 and then got into the business 2016. So prior, I guess, did I have any idea that it would be this journey and that we would be in the position that we are in now? It was a dream. I mean, this whole thing has felt like, you know, karmic and slated to be, you know, it came from a real experience with my dad, and products that, like, it's hard to argue with, that really work, and that allows us as to have the conversation with people, to have that first conversation where it's like, dude, I get you don't like getting high, but this is just about medicine that doesn't get you high and works. And that sort of opens the door to this broader conversation. So there just seems to have been something kind of faded about our mission here. And, you know, we haven't reached our total goal. We want to be, I want to be a global brand. I want to have our products on people's shelves all around the world, making them feel better. That is our mission, my legacy.
Then what Flex 24 wanted me to do the same thing. Their product is good. And, you know, like I said, that show is at 929,000 views. So between now and mid-September, we'll be at 1 million views on that. Just one show. So I was looking to see who I wanted to be with, who I could help, what small business that I could help get their word out there. That's most important for me. Someone who's environmentally friendly, someone who's sustainable, you know, plant-based is really where it's at, whether it's meat or what you guys have in your product. I've had a couple of other companies and I'm like, I don't know, you know, but I've had all these athletes reach out because we have the world of sports, we have the world of fitness, we have the world of fashion, and they've all come on underneath us, if you can imagine that. So I always want to make sure we have the right products. Like my sign, Unique LED, I showed them at a gifting suite. I said, can you make me a sign that I can walk the red carpets with? Because I don't like the small little handwritten things. So I take this with me. So my co-hosts have 2 of them. So stuff like that is really important. So it's an honor to meet you, Adam, for what you do. And thank you for your dad and helping your dad, because it's about that story. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I like what you had to say about sustainability too. Like because we have this kind of pristine, I think, well-earned reputation because we're trying to do the right thing. Like we were lucky enough to be granted the first manufacturing and distribution license by the city of Eureka, which is the seat of Humboldt County. And Humboldt County is like in the Emerald Triangle. It's the epicenter of cannabis culture. It's, if you know about, Northern California is where the best and the most cannabis, sun-grown cannabis is grown in the world. And in the spot, it's like half of the country's traditional market and new market cannabis comes from the Emerald Triangle. Anyhow, we ended up there because I have my favorite cousin moved there, married a guy from there, and I went out for their wedding and when their kids were born and developed a relationship with John. And anyhow, through coincidence, we were lucky enough to land in Eureka, and it has a rich history with cannabis and the good and the bad, and so we always have felt like we are in this unique position because of our brand identity, what we're trying to do, and it's really translated to the community. We work with the farmers that are sustainably farming up in the mountains and that are compliant and trying to empower them by being a consistent partner and being able to work with them to get the cleanest cannabis that makes the best products, clean products with no chemicals. And then from a community standpoint, like really show like, hey, this is the promise of cannabis because of all the vilification in the past. So I think we've really done that in Eureka. We have a great relationship up there. We're trying to be good members of the community. And so I appreciate what you were saying earlier about sustainability, because that's something we talk about a lot.
Talk about this. The world of hemp and everything has changed. And I'm very good at seeing and predicting things that are coming down the pipeline because we have to be. I always tell people, if you can adapt and you can be flexible to change, you'll make it. If you can't, literally your life is on the line, and so might be your business. And for Movie Reviews and More and 13 women that we have, I'm very happy because they're all very strong. You know, 5 of them, one's Miss America, one's Miss Puerto Rico, Miss Brazil, the first Miss African American, you know, and then some of them are winners in the world of fitness. So we're invited to a lot of stuff, and we still are invited to these things. So it's an honor to be like that because these are our own numbers. It's not any network's numbers. These are our own numbers, and that's what makes it special. So between now and April 2nd of 21, we will be at 850 million views a month. No one will beat us daily for all the stuff. So that's why all these brands are wanting to come on. But I'm real, like if Coke comes on again, I tell them, no, I don't drink Coke. I have a Sprite maybe once every 3 months, but I don't drink soda anymore. You know, I'm more water. So I'm really specific on who I like, but the companies that I do brand, their businesses have quadrupled, and I couldn't be happier for them when they're on the shows. I really am thankful. And again, it goes back to the story of you and your dad, but it also goes back to there were so many CBD companies out there. How were you guys were able to maneuver? Because what I did not like, I had people come up to me, hey, we want you to try this. And I would say, do you answer your emails? Do you pick up the phone? Because I'm going to call you. And if I'm going to have you on the show, I want to be able to talk to you. Yeah, we do. Not one of them. Can I reach them till this day? And they're lucky if I get an email back from these people. And I don't like that because it's disrespectful. But also, I'm here to help you. Because again, I don't necessarily need it, but it's something that's naturally in the body. So everybody does need it, you know, but people listen to what we're talking about. And that's very, very important. So they know if I bring out a certain product or company, that is something, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that you're careful about who you promote. And it's true, there's a lot of the lure of CBD and like the lure of money brought a lot of people into the market that, you know, maybe we're not in there for the medicinal potential of, but you know, of CBD, and that's fine too. Like it's an incredible compound. I think we come at it from a standpoint of truly, it's embedded in our mission, right? Truly unlocking the medicinal potential of cannabis, which is immense. And so, yeah, and on the national side, there is a lot of noise in the market, and it's you know, it's hard to break through that. We have tried to focus on education because just the fundamentals of how you take CBD is it's hard for people to understand without a lot of education. So we focus on that. But yeah, we're just doing our best to do things the right way.
No, that's really good. Especially, you know, I always tell people, well, one of the things I'm always looking at is for the Dreamweaver Artist Ranch. You know, the technology, a lot of technology that I found from around the world has never been seen in the U.S. It's great. You know, drinkable air. You know, water gen. You know, picking the water from the air. You know, LG giving us our solar panels. You know, LG has computers, phones, and you know, all of that. But no, I wanted cell phones. They wanted to be in our tiny house business, the stuff that we're doing. People who've lost their places due to fire or just loss of jobs. These are the communities that I'm building up. So I just hadn't chosen the right company for CBD or edibles or something like that. I like what you guys have to offer, and I like you. And my whole thing is, if I like that person, that's kind of does it right there. And then I go by the girls. If the girls like the product, there's a lot of, you know, I can't wear eyelashes and I don't get dressed up in drag. That's not me. I'm a movie guy, you know, I'm a movie whore. But it's one of those things that, do you like this dress? You know, if you like them, then I'll reach out to the company. Yes, we like that. You know, and those things are very, very important because it's about helping Mother Earth, and it's about really helping those people that really need the help. And a lot of people just don't know. And that's why I mentioned Griffin, Georgia, where my mother lives, the ages of 55 to 86. They all want something. They're asking my mom's asking me. And I'm like, well, you have to take the right doses. And I just haven't found the right company to turn you guys on because, you know, they're of that age where they're great test studies, but at the same time, you don't want something to go wrong, you know, from something that taking too much or not enough, as you know.
Well, particularly for older communities, I mean, that's one of our sweet spots. And what's been great about the business is that, like, the connectivity of the products. So I would love to send you, and we'll send you tomorrow, a package that you can try. You can have some for your mom and for your colleagues, the girls that are on the show that you're talking about. And I just find the best way is if your people have that aha experience and really understand it, then that's the connectivity in terms of, like, yeah, helping to broadcast our voice. We probably can do it a little better. We're not than we have thus far. So I'd appreciate the help on that as well. But it's all about the products at the end of the day and inspiring people. And that's where I feel like we really do have this immense potential to be a special brand, because we do focus on the products and they are life-changing. And yeah, we got a real mission. So I'm excited for you to check out the products. I'm going to send you a bunch, and then that's the best path forward for you to really see if and how you can help. It would be awesome.
When you had a Forbes or other magazines and other outlets reach out to you, what was that feeling that knowing Forbes would have reached out to you? Because that's not necessarily easy, you know?
Yeah, well, look, it's super flattering and somewhat unreal. We're still very much like a startup. It was such a classic experience starting up this company. So I told you I met my partner Guy in California, and that was really the special spark for the business, because he has an amazing background as a grower, extractor, formulator. You should meet him. I think you'd enjoy having him on the show. Also, he's like a very dynamic speaker. But we launched out of his house here in LA that was a grow house, and then he had had his lab off the kitchen. and the grow in the basement. And that's like how we started. We had, at one point we had like 20 crock pots in the kitchen, and we're filling bombs, and that's how we launched the business from that house. So anyhow, you asked about like the story, and it still kind of feels that way, like a scrappy startup. And so it's super, I mean, like this Forbes story, it hasn't been, I really want that story to be, we're still a few years off from the Forbes story I really want, but it's been, yeah, it was nice to be recognized.
Well, and when you talk about the crock pot, I mean, that's funny, because how many other people did that? Nobody that I've ever heard of. I think that's hilarious, but I also think it's brilliant.
Yeah, man, we like, some things are just, naturally done the right way. And that, just like, I told you how we make the rosin for the patches, but we professionalized that crockpot process. What we do now is we have a process that's very close, where we're cooking the oil. It's one of 3 base oils. After we spin and keef the biomass, we then cook it, and we add just water and pressure sequencing. But it's kind of like a professionalized version of the crock pot, because that transfers the exact chemical profile of the flour into the oil in a natural way. No chemicals, there's no like butane, it's all natural. And then, that's what we put into the tincture, right? And that you swallow it, and what you rub on your arm. So it's all starts from that base premise, which is like, what's the cleanest cannabis that we can get, process it without chemicals, and the best, because we're making it for ourselves and for our loved ones. And then, of course, you want to follow that standard. It was always like, create something like it's just been an aspirational business, like the best representation of kind of me out there. It's like this, I've never made a product before, but I made this product, and so it was like, what's it going to look like to convey what's inside, and just like to have something that, yeah, like this takes away people's pain, and even the act of like rubbing it on your loved ones itself is this human contact, and then they feel better. And it's like, there's something magical in this, and this is at the very core of the experience that started the company, and of what we do every day with all of our products now, and who we are. So we're pretty fired up about it.
Let me ask you this: why would women like it?
Why wouldn't they?
No, why do women like it?
Well, I think everybody likes it because it makes you feel better. It can be like, on the downside, like it can be a little greasy. You gotta really like massage it in. But I think, scent is a very personal thing. People love the scent of this generally, I think, but it's also reasonably powerful. There's a strong eucalyptus smell to it.
Oh.
So, maybe for some folks that's like too much, but.
All right, so you got me. I was hoping that you had that in it.
Oh yeah, and some lavender. Like, I think I love the smell, and most people do, but it's a very personal thing. So I understand that maybe not for everybody, but it's I don't know why else women would not like the product. It's kind of have that like a universal appeal, like Tiger Balm, but it's just more potent and effective because of the cannabinoids are powerful, and there's a lot in them. All of our products are like very potent, particularly topicals, because you need that to have. Companies that are coming in, CBD companies and otherwise, always look at the milligram count of the products, because that's half the battle. It's like, you have to have hundreds of milligrams in a small container for a topical to be truly effective. The companies that are just trying to come in there and make money, that have 50 milligrams in a topical, this one has 600, and there's lots of them out there. That's like, okay, they're trying to make their margin, and they're doing, which is what you have to do, I guess. But we never started from that premise. Like, it was first and foremost, how do we make a product that really works?
Good for you. You're not getting out of here without, when you have time, any favorite TV shows, any movies that you watch when you had a chance?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been going through some older classics with the whole COVID thing. So I've really been enjoying a couple of old school throwbacks, which will date me, but I love Annie Hall is a great Woody Allen movie.
Woody Allen, yep.
And I also really enjoyed watching Diner again. I'm sure you've seen Diner.
Uh-huh.
The backstory there, I think that was the first movie for Mickey Rourke, Ellen Barkin, Steve Guttenberg, Kevin Bacon, all of their first major TV roles was in this movie, and you go back and watch it, it's a classic. So,
you know, and the fun thing about that is it was good to see the progress of their careers, and they've all been friends, which is really interesting. I would have never have known that. You mentioned Steve Goodman. I ran into Steve. My God, I think it was at a gifting suite in January. Yeah, in January. And I was like, wow, I hadn't seen him in a while, but you just brought back memories to me as that movie fan. That's why I asked, because everybody has something, whether it's a favorite book, music, CD, album, or movie that brings them back into that, or even sports. And a lot of those things were taken away. And I always tell people with Movie Reviews and More, we're recession proof, we're stock proof. We have our own numbers. They always go up. They never go down. They never stay flat, you know, and that's unheard of. But it's almost like how you started your company with your dad because of what he went through. I started it based on, you know, this is going to be about women. It's got to be about technology. Telecommunications is going to be where it's at, and environmentally friendly, sustainable, and having the first test model for net zero, creating and the safest place. Because as you know, the property that we chose, the Dreamweaver Artist Ranch, the ground is very fertile, never been contaminated, never had a fire on it, and no fracking. And you know how important that is to have.
Yeah.
Very rare.
Very rare. Yeah, I worry about the state of the earth these days. I travel, when I used to be able to travel, I traveled a lot to South America. My thing is kind of adventure travel. I lived in Argentina for a few years. I heard you mention Argentina earlier. But yeah, sustainability and what I've been seeing happening in, I go to Ecuador a lot. I have a good friend there, and we travel to the jungle a lot. And that's another thing we try and support at the company level is some environmental causes. I myself give a lot to Amazon Watch, and I'm really concerned about the state of the world there. So I appreciate your focus on sustainability.
Adam, give your website for the audience.
PapaandBarkleyCBD.com is where you can buy Papa and Barkley products that are in the national market, so they can ship to you. If you're in California, you can go to papaandbarkley.com for our higher THC products. And it's Papa like father, P-A-P-A. Barkley is B-A-R-K-L-E-Y, so it's Papa and Barkley spelled out .com.
How'd you get that name?
Well, thanks for asking. So my kid, I don't have kids. My sister's kids, my nieces and nephews, call my dad Papa, and Barkley was my dog that became my dad's dog because
that's what I thought. I thought so.
And they, so Barkley was an amazing pit bull rescue that I got, and when he was a pup, and it was just a great dog. And this dog would not leave my father's side. Either sitting next to him on the couch, or if he was on the floor, he was just touching his foot, and he was sleeping in the bed with him under the covers every night. It's this 70-pound pit bull. So he was, when I was taking care of my dad, it was the three of us in the bed taking care of each other. And so he just represented the experience and sort of that loving support that it's what we're trying to effectuate. So yeah, what I call the company Papa and Barkley to.
Hey, I used to do the same thing with my dog on my old ranch or Rhodesian Ridgeback. You know, he used to get in bed with us, and I'd be like, he'd have the whole bed. I totally understand that. It's nothing like that. You know.
Yeah, I got another one here sleeping. That's Cooper.
Oh wow! How cool.
Yeah. I actually, Barkley passed before my dad did, so I got Coop for my dad, and he's also, there's that special love that dog that you only can get from that dog, I'll tell you. So.
Give your website one more time.
Sure, it's papaandbarkley.com, PapaandBarkley.com, or papaandbarkleycbd.com. Appreciate anybody. My email is adam@papaandbarkley if anybody wants to get in touch with me on anything. And Brian, I'm going to send you some products, and we'll be in touch. I look forward to continuing the conversation with you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes, I definitely want to have you back on, Adam. Adam, a pleasure and honor to meet you, and I love to hear your story. And I want more people to hear your story because it is very, very important. And I like you. I'm going to do everything I can to help you. And that's going to be a great deal. You have no idea. So with that, I want to thank Adam for coming on in Barkley.com. This is Movie Reviews and More, WomenOnTV.tv, iTube 247 out of Franklin, Tennessee, and the Worldwide TV Network. And if you see someone out of smile, please give them one of yours because the world needs it. And we will see you next week.